book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about my Q4 TBR. I was only just thinking of this yesterday regarding what videos to film. I was thinking, there has to be a video to film in this time. I don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden it came to me. We're in the last quarter of the year. What I am going to share with you guys today is a TBR that I have for the last quarter of the year. There are many exciting books that are coming out that I'm really excited to read. There are also some books that I really need to get to on my TBR. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna get into the list. I'm gonna start off with the final book in the first series that I technically read the first 2 books of last quarter, and I want to read this final book in this quarter. And that, my friends, is The Book of Life, which is the 3rd and final book in the first All Souls trilogy. I believe that there are going to be more books in this series. There's definitely a spin-off book called Times Convert, and I'm really excited to read that, but I at least want to get to The Book of Life first. I just want to at least finish the first series with these characters. This series is a very dense one, but they are very much enjoyable, and eventually I will be watching the TV show, but I do not want to watch the TV show while I'm reading the book series because I want to picture these characters the way that I picture them, essentially, and just imagine everything happening the way that I can imagine it without a show's budget getting in the way. I got some independently published books here. I definitely want to get to the Life After series by Julie Hull. I did mention this in my October TBR. I at least want to finish one full independently published series this year, being that I'm currently in the middle of Huntress. I definitely see that it's going to be this one. And I have a few more independently published books on my shelf that I want to get to by the end of the year. I definitely want to read this one right here, which a bunch of you guys might or might not know of. This is the first time I'm mentioning it on my channel. Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is the first book in the Plated Prisoners series. I have wanted to read this book for such a long time. I finally got my physical paperback copies. I'm really excited to get my hardback Bookish Box special editions. Yeah, I do like that sometimes. I sometimes buy special editions of certain book series when I think to myself, I'm gonna really enjoy the series. I hear nothing but great things about the series from people that tend to share the same bookish interests as myself. Very much looking forward to reading the Plated Prisoner series, but I at least want to start off with Guild. I know that this first book's really hard to get into considering the protagonist's situation. I believe that there is some sort of abuse topic that's dealt with in here that's not going to be fun to read about per se. However, if I think that this is going to be anything like From Blood and Ash, where the protagonist is in the worst possible situation and ends up being an absolute strong and capable character, that is the kind of development I want to see. I've heard comments talking about how the first book's really difficult to get through. I at least want to get through the first book before the end of the year, and we'll see how we go. And I at least want to get to the first book in the Mosai series, Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello. I have been hearing a lot of people talk about how amazing this book cover is. I have no doubt about it. This book cover is absolutely stunning. This is one of those book series where I actually haven't heard many things about the series, and it's definitely one of those cover buys for me. I've seen it all over my Bookstagram. Even on book Twitter at some point someone brought it up, and I rarely see people promote independently published books on Twitter. Maybe I'm following the wrong people, but I need to read it. The sequel comes out in October, so I reckon it's the perfect time to finally get to it. And the next independently published book that I want to bring up is one that I have heard many good things about, and I picked up for similar reasons as Guild, A Court of Honey and Ash by Shannon Mayer and Kelly St. Clair. No one has mentioned this, but I swear this title is a mashup of ACOTAR, Blood and Honey, and From Blood and Ash. You can't unhear it. I purchased it along with Song of the Forever Rains and Guild. I think that I'm going to enjoy it because everybody says that I'm going to enjoy it. And then I have to bring up Ember of Night by Molly E. Lee. The second book comes out next month, and I just found out that this is actually going to be a trilogy, or I don't know, I mean, like, the 3rd book just got listed. I definitely would love more books in the series, and I like how Entangled Teen is doing it similarly to some of the independently published authors, where they will publish a book every 6 months. I think that the 3rd book is coming out like the same time this book came out this year. Next book's coming out really soon. I like the 6-month release strategy. I definitely want to pick this up, especially in October, because we're in spooky season, and I think that this book series works well. And then I want to reread Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis, and I also want to bring this up here as well. I do want to read When Night Breaks, which is is the sequel and I believe is the finale to the series. You know, start and finish a duology, that'd be cool. I want to see how it goes. I want to see where this mystery takes me. Can I mention that this book series have absolutely amazing covers? They are absolutely gorgeous and I just cannot wait to see them both on my shelf. This is not about the covers, this is about the story, but also it's about the covers. The final physical book that I've got to bring up, I mean, that I own so far, the other ones are either on their way to me or they have been pre-ordered. Steel Striker by Marie Lu. This is the sequel and the finale to the Sky Hunter series, and if you guys don't know, this is where the hype's at. Talon is just already making me so proud when I'm looking at this cover. The ending of Sky Hunter. It was one of the worst cliffhangers that you could possibly be left on. It's been a year. We waited an entire year. We're here now. I've got to get to it. I've got to read it. I've got to find out what happens. This is something that I do want to read by the end of the year, and it will be another completed series, hopefully, by the end of the year. Now, let's move on to some books that I have pre-ordered. A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown. Now, if you guys don't know, this is the sequel and I believe the finale to A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. The thing about A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, I could reread that book, but I feel like I remember it clearly enough to continue on. I actually really do like rereading books in the lead up to finales or sequels. This being said, in this situation, I fully remember what happened, and the first time I read it, I actually decided to read it again, so I technically read it twice last year. And while I do love the first book, I have too many books on my TBR. Knowing what happens in the first book, I'm just gonna go into this book not rereading the first book to go into the second. I kind of hope that this next book's not too rushed. I hope that it's more of a slow burn because I think that the first book just seemed like it was a first book in a trilogy rather than a duology, but we'll have to take what we can get here. Next, I have to bring up The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. I have pre-ordered this. I purchased the Fairy Loot exclusive edition of The Gilded Cage, even though there's probably no chance that I could get my hands on the first book, The Prison Healer, in the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. I've pleaded with Fairy Loot. I'm pretty sure that a lot of Australians have pleaded with Fairy Loot to release this book out to the public in their special edition, and they won't. And people are selling it for really high prices, and some people are just not selling it at all. It's really sad. This being said, I've still purchased the exclusive edition of the sequel because I need at least one of them in my life. The Gilded Cage is one of my most anticipated releases of the second half of this year. If you guys don't know, The Prison Healer came out, I believe, in April of this year. It is one of my favorite books that I read this year. It's definitely my favorite book by Lynette Noni. The Gilded Cage is actually already out in Australia, but my Fairy Loot exclusive edition is not published for a while. It's probably not gonna get shipped until like November, so I'm waiting. Also, I have to mention that The Prison Healer left off on the best plot twist that I could have possibly experienced in a book. I can't spoil it. You guys honestly just need to read it. I'm really happy that these books have come out within around a 6-month period of each other because that's what I need more in my life. I don't know if this is something that some publishers or some authors are doing to stay relevant, but it is working. It really is working. I'm gonna bring up a couple books that are going to be in my next bookish boxes. Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. Vespertine is another one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and when I found out that the bookish box were doing Vespertine this year, I got really excited. The customized cover they just revealed, I love that color scheme. I've actually started reading the manuscript version of it because Vespertine is being published by my workplace, so I got really excited and just started reading it. It's really good so far. Vespertine is just probably my most anticipated release that I've ever had from Margaret Rogerson. I think I'm even more excited about it because it's a first book in a series. This is Margaret Rogerson's first series. Vespertine, I also think will make a good spooky read, but I don't think that I'm going to be receiving my box before the end of October. Also ordered the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. I know, there's something wrong with me. And I've also got to mention Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. This is going to be the September bookish box book. I'm really excited to receive the customized edition. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be art underneath the dust jacket. I'm very much looking forward to Defy the Night because Bridget Kemmerer really impressed me with the Cursebreaker series. Even though it doesn't feel complete, she knows how to grip me when it comes to her stories. The second last book that I am going to mention that I want to read in this quarter is Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. In this situation, I purchased it from the bookish box again. I know, guys, sometimes I hold out for some special editions. Kingdom of the Cursed needs to deliver on another level. I've mentioned this previously on my channel because Kingdom of the Wicked was good, but it wasn't great. I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for saying that, but you know, that's my opinion. But I cannot wait for Kingdom of the Cursed because Carrie Maniscalco, she can write. Finally, A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in the spin-off series to the Blood and Ash series, and it will be known as the Flesh and Fire series. I am so so excited. This is not really relevant, but this comes out 10 days before my birthday, but I feel like my birthday is gonna be 10 days earlier because honestly, when Jennifer L. Armentrout drops a new Blood and Ash book, it feels like my birthday. That's such a bad joke. A lot of people who have read the advanced reader copy are saying that Nyktos is a better love interest than Castiel. Okay, I am ready. That is gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And I also have social medias. I'm at gswizzlebooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle, and I'm also at TikTok at gswizzle if you want to follow me there for some content. These quarterly TBRs have been fun. Stay tuned for Q1's TBR coming at you next year. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.